Hello everyone, and welcome to another video about mod development on Total War Rome Remastered. So this is the latest update I have for the beta for Chivalry Total War Remastered. And as you can see, I'm playing as a brand new faction in the early era campaign. This is the County of Portugal, which is another emergent faction. And this is going to be something that's going to be very common in the next update for Chivalry. This next update is going to be pretty intense. I plan on making the high era, not even a beta, just a full done campaign, just like the early era. And the Mongol invasions are in. And the early era is going to have a lot more formable factions as well as emergent factions. So first I want to talk about the emergent factions and the possibilities there. So here we are playing as the County of Portugal. In the year is 1137 AD, so we spawned actually quite late. Usually the spawn for Portugal is about 1100 or so. It really depends on how well the AI does as the Kingdom of Leon, because the County of Portugal, the King of Leon in 1072, Alfonso, was also the Count of Portugal. Right? So upon his death, another Count of Portugal was chosen who was not the King of Leon. So then the County of Portugal became sort of a separate state. And then, of course, it formed the kingdom later on in the 12th century. So how it works in the next update for Chivalry Total War Remastered is that the King of Leon, he has an ancillary, Count of Portugal. And if Leon does poorly, or if the AI is not careful about transferring this title to the heir, then eventually the County of Portugal spawns in Guimarães. Please excuse my pronunciation. The historical first capital of the County of Portugal. Right? So then you spawn with a small army here. You can spawn with household knights, sergeant infantry, spear militia, and Portuguese lancers, as well as Portuguese militia. However, in this particular spawn, I did not spawn with the Portuguese units, unfortunately. However, you can recruit Portuguese raiders from the start, again, depending on how well built up the province is by the AI. And this turns into a pretty fun campaign. So, of course, historically, the County of Portugal emerged, and it was essentially a vassal of the Kingdom of Leon, right? However, due to Rome Total War limitations and the way vassal scripts work, I'd rather have the faction emerge normally, so at war with Leon, and then if you want to make peace, you can probably, quickly recruit a diplomat and peace out with them. So in any case, I want to recruit some of these Portuguese cavalrymen and fight a battle with Leon and show off a little bit about Portugal here. Alright, so here we are in battle as the County of Portugal with our flags and everything. So here we are with our Portuguese militia cavalry. This is a light cavalry unit, so not super effective like, our heavy knights. Of course, this is the early general's bodyguard. And then, of course, they will eventually become the high era general's bodyguard. And we've got our spear militia and our militia archers. And we're going to quickly take out this Leonese garrison force. And of course, please do not pay too much attention to the officer banners. The officers are going to be changed, of course. And there is a Portuguese general model as well, and unit skin. Our Portuguese raiders galloping into battle. And the other thing about this update is that thanks to Lanjane, the developer of the Barbarian Empires mod for Rome Total War, he has not overhauled but rebalanced both combat as well as the economy. in the mod. So actually lethality, which has apparently some issues in the original game, has been overhauled here so that every unit has the same lethality as archers, which is hard-coded. And I think that is probably a little more fair and sort of accounts more for how the AI likes to play battles, right? Because when that is changed, the AI is just put at a disadvantage in those cases. Now, in any case, Leon just has some militia here, so let's take him out, and then I will talk about some other emergent factions that might be coming up in this next update. And of course, not only emergent factions, I also want to talk about formable factions. So this is going to really make this a very, you could say, perhaps semi-paradox style update in terms of how many formable and emergent factions there are in the campaign, depending on the historical circumstance. Like I said, Portugal doesn't have to emerge. If Leon does super well as the AI, or if the player is playing as Leon, and you are careful about transferring that Count of Portugal title, then, yeah, Portugal won't emerge. Alright, we're back on the campaign map, and one other thing I want to mention is that, as you can see, this is Medieval 2 style Black Fog of War. So, actually, this is something that came up in the latest patch for Total War Rome Remastered, where you have the ability in your mod to turn on Medieval 2 style Fog of War, where you have to discover the map as well. Let's toggle the Fog of War quickly. The only problem is it kind of works a little bit funny with the Chivalry minimap, but please tell me if you're okay with that trade-off here. Now, with Lanjane's rebalance, so before the AI had a bit of an issue where it was a little bit too passive in Chivalry, but now, as you can see, the AI is quite expansive, and it's expansive in ways it should be. Like Hungary has done very historical expansion into the Balkans, taking Croatia there. Bohemia is rather expansive. The Pechenegs actually went and settled in eastern Poland here. The Byzantines are fighting pretty well, but the Crusaders, the Crusaders actually came in instead of going to Jerusalem. The Crusaders went to Constantinople, so you had sort of an early Fourth Crusade style situation here. So that is pretty cool. Actually, this is the first time I've seen that, so that's pretty funny. I suppose I should make... the Latin Empire is a faction in the High Era campaign now, in the latest update. And, as the Crusaders, when you take Antioch, for example, you form the Principality of Antioch. When you take Edessa, you form the County of Edessa. Same with Tripoli and Jerusalem. But, I could make it so that you form the Latin Empire if you take Constantinople. So that would be a pretty cool mechanic. I might add that in there. It wouldn't be too hard. Other updates for this next version of Chivalry is you've got the County of Barcelona here. And the County of Barcelona will be a full unique Catalan faction, so it will have Catalan names as well. And same as here, we've got the Kingdom of Pamplona for the early era, Kingdom of Navarre for the high era, and the Kingdom of Pamplona will have Basque names, and it will be a fully nice, unique little faction there. So we've got three nice factions here up in the Pyrenees. So we've got the Kingdom of Aragon, Kingdom of Pamplona, and the County of Barcelona, which arguably the most powerful Christian faction here in this region until Aragon really rose up. And, of course, before Pamplona was more powerful until it got partitioned. But anyway, as you can see, this situation is not easy for Portugal, right? You've got the Taifa of Badajoz to the south, which doesn't seem to be doing that well. But you've got Lyon, which has many stacks, actually. So Lyon can actually cause some problems for me. Aragon has actually taken Aquitaine here, so that's pretty interesting expansion for Aragon. They didn't go for Zaragoza. That is interesting. And France, of course, is expanding quite nicely. Anjou, I've seen Anjou in some test runs take Brittany. So that's good to see. In this test run, the Kingdom of England has taken Brittany. So all in all, let me know what you think about reducing the unit upkeep, because it definitely makes the campaign a little bit more dynamic. So before, expansion would be a little bit slow. I still have to work on the balance in southern Italy as well. I'm thinking of adding in the Emirate of Sicily as a faction, and perhaps the Duchy of Naples and Duchy of Spoleto as well, and actually one of the Lombard duchies, which was still around in 1072, because then, of course, that could cause a scenario for an emergent Kingdom of Lombardy, right? So that would be pretty nice indeed. And of course, my other plans include having Milan, the Commune of Milan, form the Duchy of Milan, if it builds up enough. And of course, same thing for Anjou. I want to be able to create an Angevin empire, right? Or perhaps even a Duchy of Anjou stage. So there is a lot here. Now with Portugal, back to Portugal, in the high era you've got the Kingdom of Portugal, and then in the late era you'll have the Kingdom of Portugal and Algarve as well. And of course, the coat of arms, faction symbols, that all changes as the eras update. So that's all going to be pretty nice indeed. And of course, in the east here, same thing will happen with Kilikian Armenia will update from the barony to the Kingdom of Kilikian Armenia for the high and late eras. And yeah, the other thing here is that the Great Seljuk Empire is going to have a few more mini factions here in the region. So you'll have factions like the Marwanids, the Shah Armen, as well as the Shaddadids, who were in this region here in Ganzak and Ani. So that the Grand Seljuk Empire, as well as the Abbasids, so the Grand Seljuk Empire won't be so overpowered as they are, right? So that'll make that campaign a lot more interesting. And expect some buffs to Kiev as well, because they always just die. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about this update here. I will have a nice update video about the Crusades campaign as well as the High Era coming up soon. So the next Chivalry update, expect to see a nice update pretty soon. I don't want to make any promises, but within the next several weeks and months, there will be a few updates to Chivalry. So expect that coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy videos about the historical Total Wars and their mods, consider liking this video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one later.